Gentlemen, let's begin with a truth that most men never hear until it's too late. And that is a fact that in most modern relationships, it is the women who hold the frame in most modern relationships or marriages. And this is not because she's stronger, but because the man has abdicated leadership at the psychological level. So, industry research finds that women influence roughly 85% of consumer purchases, and market reports repeatedly show that women are the primary decision makers for many categories of household spending. And this is why most advertisements on television, they target women. If you're watching news at prime time, look at most of the advertisements, particularly involving household expenditure. So surveys reinforce that this is not just influence on small items, but many women report active, independent control of day-to-day budgeting and money management. For example, the 2024 Investopedia research titled Her Money Mindset, that survey found that high rates of financial engagement and independent decision making among women is what was holding households together. Remember that the frame is the unspoken acceptance of one's authority. And whoever holds the frame in a relationship is the one who dictates the tone, the direction, and the rhythm of the relationship. They're the ones who dictate the emotional weather of that relationship. And in today's world, most men are no longer the center of their own gravity. And that is why when you tell a man, you guys, can we meet next weekend? They tell you, and let me ask the mama, let me ask madam. He has to get permission from his woman. So back to how women control 85% of household expenditure. Controlling how money is spent is not a neutral administrative task, the way men want to think. It shapes who gets resources, how priorities are set, and what the family's future looks like. When men earn and women allocate, two structural dynamics arise. The first one is resource routing or resource routing. Male earnings are routed into consumption patterns the allocator prefers. And over time, this shapes lifestyle, asset accumulation, and risk exposure. So empirical consumer data makes the routing effect visible. So there's a Forbes research and the Salsify report on purchasing influence that shows this. The second one is incentive architecture. So if resource flows reward certain behaviors like comfort, status, upkeep, conspicuous consumption, then people adapt to those incentives. Where women control spending, household incentives often prioritize lifestyle and present consumption, not the man's mission or long-term capital preservation. And this is one reason why many men who had very good careers, when they retire, they are broke. It's because they allowed their women to run wild with the money that they were making. The woman decided, and many men spend up to the last coin. They don't even save anything because the women are the ones controlling where you go on holiday, what you eat, where you live, the car you drive, and so on. So it is to your detriment that your wife controls the household expenditure. So frame is not just some theory that we talk about in the red pill. So from the red pill vantage, losing control of the purse strings is therefore identical with losing sovereignty over one's economic life. So when you lose control of the purse strings, you also lose sovereignty over your own economic life. And herein comes the historical blind spot. Our fathers did not teach us this. Okay? Or you actually thought it, they thought it was a trivial matter. Unaambiwa wacha bibi aende anunue kile anataka. Okay? Schools did not prepare us for this. For centuries, history was about what men did, which included wars, conquests, inventions, and so on, while the feminine remained a background force, the mother, the caregiver, the temptress, the muse. And from the Stone Age to the Industrial Age, men built civilizations, but they rarely studied the psychology of the women they built them for. So when the modern men entered relationships, they did so as emotional amateurs. They adopted foreign romantic ideals like chivalry, pedestalization, and emotional dependency without understanding the hidden dynamics beneath them. In The Manipulated Man, Esther Vilar tells us that the average man's emotional life is directed by women, though he believes himself to be free. And she was right. Many African men, for example, are fuller kneeling before Idera in a crowded mall to make a proposal. They have absorbed Western romantic scripts that have nothing to do with masculine sovereignty and everything to do with female psychology and the gynocentric social order that is serving the feminine imperative. So we're going to look at the psychology of frame transfer. How does this happen? So we know that when a relationship starts, the woman often enters the man's frame at the beginning because she's drawn to his strength, she's drawn to his mystery or mystery, and to his mission. She mirrors his rhythm, she affirms his direction, and seems to submit to his leadership. But once she feels emotionally secure, a subtle shift occurs. She begins to test him. She begins giving him shit tests. So she does not do this out of malice, but from instinct. A woman's test is not to an attack. Okay, it's not an attack. It is basically a scan for structural integrity. If he fails the test, maybe he caves in, he pleases her or apologizes to her for putting boundaries, she takes the frame. She does not waste any time. And from that moment, gentlemen, polarity collapses. The man becomes reactive. The woman becomes directive. And once a woman leads, the relationship becomes maternal, not romantic. This is why Kevin Samuels would say that when you give a woman leadership, she loses respect. She may love you, but she will not desire you. So, how do men lose this frame? The psychological and social roots of frame loss involve, the first one is validation addiction. Okay? And this is because men are conditioned from childhood to seek approval straight from their mother. So this conditioning breeds men who chase validation rather than purpose. Psychologically, it creates emotional outsourcing where a man's mood depends on the approval of others. And the result of this is dependency disguised as affection. This starts from Hollywood. I spoke about this in an earlier video about the cult of happiness, where the society, the gynocentric social order, they judge a woman's happiness based on the man she is with. If she's happy, they say he's making her happy. And so men end up trying to please women as a matter of course. The second one is emotional overexposure. So many men confuse vulnerability with oversharing. And people will tell you, oh, I want a man who is authentic. What's wrong with sharing your problems with your woman? I think I also made a video about this where I say your struggles are yours. She's not your therapist. So many men text constantly, they explain themselves, and they reveal every emotion. But attraction is born from polarity, okay? From mystery and containment. When you share with her everything, you destroy the mystery and you destroy the polarity. Men are expected to be strong because strength is trust. When a man overshares his emotions, he undermines the aura of calm authority that women subconsciously rely on for security. So don't strip away your sense of strength in the name of being authentic. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it. When you subscribe, you'll always be notified when I drop new content. Also, when you like and share, you help this channel to grow, and more importantly, you help other men to discover the tools that they need to level up. So remember, when one man rises, we all rise. Now let's get back to the video. The third way men lose their frame is through over availability and loss of mystery. Remember our forefathers, they are the Tingiras and the Abilas to maintain distance from the women. This was sacred solitude, and they could also have their own personal time. But because today's man cohabits with his woman, they text all day and they plan their schedules around their women. The overexposure erodes polarity and respect. And the psychological effect is predictable. The familiar becomes invisible. And there's also another way of losing their frame is through economic dependence and role reversal. Gentlemen, money is not just currency, it is power. Robert Kiyosaki says that the one who controls income controls the relationship. And when a man depends on a woman financially, he cannot lead. He negotiates his masculinity through compliance. This inversion breeds resentment and emasculation, both psychological and sexual. And this is why many men who lose their jobs or their businesses, their marriages often crumbles in due course. The fifth reason why men lose their frame is the fear of conflict and loss. So many men fear losing women more than they fear losing respect. They avoid confrontation. They hope that peace will preserve love. But peace without truth, gentlemen, breeds contempt. This is what Rollo calls a beta male dilemma. Men who trade authenticity for attachment end up losing both. The fourth way that men lose their frame is due to physical neglect and loss of presence. So if you are developing man boobs, you've allowed yourself to be so out of shape, then you're communicating to your woman that you cannot protect her. You're not a man. If your body language is poor, you can't look at her in the eye, you lack confidence, your voice is weak or low, you cannot hold your shoulders back and your head high, then you don't project strength. Okay? So strength is not tyranny, gentlemen. It is the ability to bear the heaviest load. And if you don't convey that, because of the physical neglect you've done to your body, then you're going to lose your frame and you're going to lose her respect and her desire. How do women take this frame? We've seen how men lose it. So once a man loses his composure, women assume control through psychological games, not out of evil, but through instinct. This book, Unplugged 5, Operant Conditioning, is about how women take the frame from men. But I'm going to just give you a rundown for purposes of this particular episode. The first way through which women take the frame is through the silent treatment game. So this is where a woman withdraws emotionally. She sulks and she expects you to chase her. The weak man panics and apologizes, and the strong man stays calm. He continues his mission and he waits for her to re-enter his frame. If she pulls back, let her do the job of coming back. Don't close the gap. Then the second one is a pullback test, where she grows distant or moody. Most modern men, driven by scarcity, they overpursue. Okay? They text her, they call her, they beg for emotional reassurance. But masculine stoicism, gentlemen, is stability. Let her storm, and she will return to your calm. The third one is a guilt trap, where she frames your boundaries as selfishness. She will tell you that you don't care about me, you're too busy, you're too controlling, and so on. This is emotional manipulation, gentlemen. It is cloaked in need. So a man must not confuse guilt with guidance. You must understand sign language. And boundaries are not cruelty, they are structure. The fifth way women take the frame is through the happy wife, happy life trap. And this frame is the anthem of defeated men. It means that the man has ceded leadership and adopted emotional servitude. There is no relationship equity in relationships, gentlemen. Only frame equilibrium. If the man does not lead, the woman will, and she will lead emotionally, not rationally. And that's why women become tyrannical leaders, because she'll also resent you for not being the leader or for not taking leadership. Every time a man abandons his mission for her comfort, he steps deeper into her frame. Every time he mirrors her emotion instead of directing the tone, he becomes emotionally feminized. And every time he fears her withdrawal more than he values his purpose, he becomes replaceable. Psychologically, this is learned helplessness. And that is the belief that peace must be earned through compliance. But women do not desire compliant men. They desire anchored men, men whose lives have gravity. So how do you reclaim your frame once you've lost it? I've said that earlier that once you've lost your frame, getting it is very difficult. But should you want to reclaim it, this is what you need to do. The first thing is you need to recenter your mission. Make your life mission driven. Purpose attracts respect. Dependence repels it. Second thing you need to do is to guard your time. Okay? Guard your time. Solitude is masculine medicine. Take time in yourself, take time to spend on your purpose, not complying to her, pedestalizing her. Third thing, control your attention. Where your focus goes, your power flows. You need to withdraw that attention from her if you are overexposing yourself. Stay physically strong. Go to the gym. Make sure you get in shape. Control your diet. Strength commands silent respect. The fourth thing you need to do is to learn to lead calmly. The fifth one, learn to lead calmly. Frame is not force, it is centeredness. Don't move off center, don't get emotional, don't overreact. The sixth thing you need to do is to join a brotherhood like the Unplugged group. Masculine energy is sharpened in the company of men. One iron sharpens another. So I want you to ask yourselves today, who holds the frame in your relationship or your marriage? Is it you or her? Secondly, do you lead your reality or are you living inside hers? Third thing, have you become so emotionally available that you've become spiritually invisible? So, gentlemen, you need to reclaim your sovereignty. You need to reclaim your frame. You need to reclaim your mission. Because the moment you surrender your frame, you surrender your power. And once respect is gone, love soon follows. So drop your reflections in the comment section below. Where do you see men losing their frame today? And how are you reclaiming yours? And I'll see you guys on the next one.